If ever you want to increase your blessings in your life, do one little thing. Ask somebody, how can I help you? And this is not about doing charity, service, or what we call seva in Hindi. Often, when people think about serving, it is usually from their perspective. Let me do a good deed, give some money, give some food, give some clothes. And please do not stop doing this because this is very worthwhile. But when you actually take the time to stop and ask someone, how can I help you? What you're really saying to the person, or what you're really asking, is, how can I lift your burden? How can I help make things easier for you? And this can be anybody. I don't want you to look very far. You can look very close and find an opportunity to ask someone, how can I help you? You see, when you are helping from their perspective, it means that you are showing them that you truly care about them and that what they really what they really need matter. It makes you a very considerate and caring person. And that means you are becoming a little more divinely conscious. It's a divine quality to live life like this. You gain an understanding by asking what the person needs help with. You gain a greater understanding of what is important to them, and if you can truly be of service to them, or if you need to actually get somebody to help them. Just a few days ago, I reached out to a person, someone I know, and normally I would see him a couple times in a month, and I hadn't seen him for a while, so I called to find out what is happening with him, only to realize that he was actually sick and has to go to the hospital very often for some treatments. So normally in the past, I would have probably tell him what I want to help him do, but I didn't this time. Instead, I made sure I asked him, how can I help him? What can I do for him to help him go through this difficult period? And actually, what he needed from me was very specific, but I couldn't provide it for him. So instead, I realized, well, if I couldn't do it directly, maybe I can organize someone to help him. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to organize the help that he needed. So it's very important for us to stop and not look at things from our perspective, but to look at it from the individual's perspective so we can meet that person's need. How many times we try to help people our way, from our point of view, without considering their inner constitution, their capabilities and abilities. Sometimes we just want to pull people up because we have some compassion for them, but we want to provide to them what we think is best for them, which may not necessarily work for them. You may see a family member who's downtrodden and you said, let me give you a couple $100 that could help tie you over for a week or two or maybe a month. But really and truly, what that person needs is help to find a job so that he can gain some level of self-respect and feel some level of self-sufficiency. Um, you know, they may just want an opportunity to pursue a dream, some advice. Your spouse might actually need you to help with the dishes, but you want to help take out the garbage. How many of you have actually tried to help people and get discouraged in the process because whatever help you're offering these people, they're not making the most of it? So you resign yourself and you said, you know what, I had enough of trying to help anybody. I'm not going to encourage anybody anything anymore, and I'm not reaching out to help because they're simply not doing what I encourage them to do. That is because you haven't truly understood that person's need. You're doing it from your perspective, from your understanding, from where you're at, and you're not really trying to help them from where they're at. So what you do, you give up. So, I strongly advise that when you reach out to help, gain some perspective on the individual you're dealing with and where they're at, so you don't have to give up on them. Maybe you may not be able to help them based on what they want and where they're at, but maybe you can direct them to find the kind of help they want based on where they're at. You see, whenever you reach out and ask someone, how can I help you? Remember that that person is already dealing with some level of limitation and restriction, some lack in their life that they are struggling with, that is creating some degree of suffering, and therefore they're unable to help themselves. So when you are helping, I advise stay alert so you do not add more pain to their lives unnecessarily, whether it is through your approach or by making them feel less of themselves. You know, you cannot go and impose upon someone whom you want to help, maybe someone on the streets, and that person, all that person has is maybe an elementary school education, and then expect them to go out and get a top level job. So you want them, you advising them that's what they should do. No, you have to understand the level that they're at to be able to help pull them up. And that level may not be what you believe is best for them, but only what they're capable of based on where they're at. So stay alert. And when you can do this respectfully and build them up with genuine care and concern, you are actually taking service or sewa to another level. And you're bringing joy and meaning into the person's life. And this becomes a blessing to them and a blessing to you. You would end up feeling good just knowing that you made a direct and positive difference in the person's life. You create a shift in their condition and state of being, which makes life more meaningful for them and for you. To ask someone, how can I help, actually takes courage, and courage is a divine quality. You see, when you ask someone for help, why it takes courage is because sometimes you may actually be in a position to help, but you don't want to because it will require you to make some level of sacrifice, or it may be inconvenient to you. But if you come to the point where you do help because you truly, truly care, this becomes a great blessing to you because you will evolve spiritually. And because this whole process is about how you can help the person from their perspective, from their need, you are not seeking anything in return. You're not looking for thanks. You're not expecting them to do things your way. You are truly trying to help them in a way that they need. Then what happens, because you're not expecting you have no expectations at all? This is what is called selfless giving, selfless love, divine love. You see, we tend to make a big deal about love, when we're on the spiritual path. Let us love our fellow human being. Well, these are ways to love. Love is actually a practical thing. It's not a feeling. This is how you show you care. This is a form of love. And when you do this, you're truly taking your service or sewa to another level through compassion and understanding, selfless help. And how does this become a blessing to you? Just because by doing something in such a caring, genuine, considerate, understanding, loving way, with no expectations, nothing binding you, you're free, you evolve spiritually. That's your blessing. So I encourage you to be brave enough and start asking people when they come before you with a need, how can I help? And who knows, maybe one day you may be in a position where you actually need help from your perspective based on where you are, And that blessing may come right back to you, as somebody may come your way and reach out and ask you, how can I help you?